Hey all, I'm Jenna and I love to share how to use the Project Life app to make simple scrapbook pages with all the photos I take on my phone. This is part 5 of a Getting Started series, and I hope it will continue to show you how you can scrap all the photos you take with your phone too. Be sure to check out parts 1 through 4, especially if the Project Life app is new to you. And I also encourage you to join me in the App Scrappers Simply Project Life Facebook group, where we have a community of almost 8,000 people who share freely about the Project Life app. So let's start this video by talking about app updates. When there is a Project Life app update and you have a problem with it, here you can tap on the question mark and report the issue or ask your question through this tab. It'll tell the Project Life app team what device you're using, what operating software you're using, what update you're actually on. If you have auto updates on, that's great. If not, you may have to go to the App Store and manually update by searching for Project Life app and then clicking on the update button. And then when there is a new update, it's fun to look through what's new. So under the new tab here, you can see any new kits that have been offered this time. And when you open one of the kits up, it will tell you the name of the designer. If you like what they're doing, maybe you can go find their other stuff on their store. And or you can look through the app and see what coordinates with those kits. This is a good color story. There's tons of stuff in the app that would coordinate with this. And then there's tons of black and white products in the app too. And shameless plug, I have a kit in the app called Simple Sayings that was designed to be black and white only, very minimal. It has I'll just show you. It has a ton of coordinating journal and filler cards that match, and then all of these sayings, quotes with a little icon. So check that out if you like the black and white vibe. And then if you like the colorful vibe, there is tons of content that you can look through the app. Or again, like I said, go to those designers, search them out, see what else they have that coordinates. I want to go over some FAQs from the previous videos. A lot of the questions I got had to do with photo organization. And so I want to show you how I would set up my 2026 album in my Photos app, not in the Project Life app. I'm kind of getting out of that for a second here because this was a commonly asked question. So I opened my Photos app. Here I am in this zoomed in view. I want to come to collections though and start a new one. And I want to, what do I want to do? Let's see. With the new, I always have to think about this. Okay, we're just going to come to albums actually. And we're going to click the plus sign. And I want to, instead of adding a new album, I want to start a new folder. And I'm going to call it my 2026 picks. And I am going to just tap create. And then within that, I'm going to open that up and I'm going to tap the plus sign again and add albums. So think of the albums when you create a folder, think of them as subfolders. So I'm going to create an album for January 2026, create. I am going to do that new album for February 2026. Create. I am going to do that for March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. I am also going to add any albums for any big events or holidays or vacations I'm going to take. And then you'll have a folder with albums in it. And so here is the one, I just took a big vacation, and here's the one I set up for our 30th anniversary trip. So I did a getting there. I screenshot the weather. Took some pictures of the airport. And then I did each day of that vacation. And then I also threw that in there because I think it's important when you're traveling to greet people in their language and then ask if they speak English, which everybody did. It was amazing. We had such an amazing time. We had no trouble with that, but so I tend to screenshot that and refer to that. So I like to have that handy as well. And so that is a little bit of photo organization. And this is the system I have always used no matter where I'm organizing my pictures, no matter where my home hub is for my photos, whether it's iCloud or OneDrive or my PC or my Mac or whatever device or home base you have for your photos is, it's always the year with monthly subfolders and then possibly a vacation or a special event or a holiday as well. So I hope that helps answer that commonly asked question, and we'll go on to another one. I was also often asked about how to see 2 pages side by side when working in the Project Life app. And I use folders. I typically navigate straight to a folder and work from there. And that way you are able to see 2 pages side by side. These two go together. These two go together. These two go together. And so you're able to see the project at a glance. And I'll go over a couple of other things that I keep in here also. I have this 4x6 backup marker. When I save a page, I move this around. And I may have gone over this previously, but that's because I sort by folder order, and that gives you the ability, you'll see it right here. Oh, it used to, oh yeah, drag and drop. There it is. Drag and drop. This is the one that lets you drag and drop. So you can move pages around as you finish them. And so I like to keep this handy. I also keep a font reference handy for each project. Now this is different in every folder. This I just made one time and I added it to multiple folders because I'm never going to print this. So you just need the one and you're able to add it to another folder. And then when you're working, say I started a page and I needed to add this to a folder. I'm just going to fill in something here. You do that here, add to folder. And then if you need to create a new one, you create a new one. So 2026, we are here for it. 2026. I cannot believe it's Christmas Eve when I'm recording this. I said I would try to get this video out before the end of the year. We'll see. We'll see if I finish it or not. Okay. That's how you create a folder. That's how you can see 2 pages side by side easily. But also what I like to do sometimes is, and this is maybe overkill, but it's helpful if you're commenting a lot in the Facebook group, because you can add your 2 pages side by side and post one image. So to do that, I use this template and let me add some pages here. I'll just add, what can I use? Forgive me as I walk through this, and then I'm going to tap on this and I'll do the other February page, which I think will be this one. All right, so then I'm going to export this unfinished. And that's fine. Just say, yes, it's incomplete. That's fine. And I'm going to save the image. And then I'm going to go to my photos and go to my library, click on that, and see how this bottom half is empty because I left those pockets blank. I'm going to crop the image by coming up here and clicking on those 3 lines, clicking on crop, and simply just dragging that up and clicking the check mark. And so that's how you can display or post a double page spread together. There might be other apps. There might be easier ways to do it. That's how I do it. I was asked, so I thought I would demo. The next question was about exporting. There's no batch export or batch delete. So you do have to, when you finish a page, export the image to your camera roll right then. It's really helpful if you do that. And then if you come back and make changes, just, if there's a typo or something, just make sure you delete that old page so it doesn't clutter up your Photos app. But there's, as of now, no batch export or batch delete. So when you're I'm in my pages here, if I want to truly delete it, not remove it from a folder, truly get it out of the app, you're just going to click delete and it will delete it from everywhere. It's only in the app one time, even if you have it in multiple folders or not in a folder at all. It's only in there once, but it might be mirrored in another folder. But again, if you tap the red delete page, it is gone. And then there's one other thing down here. I am a subscriber to their page backup system. And when I was only working on my iPad, I didn't need that. But now I went back to work full time a few years ago. And I do sometimes start a page on my phone and I like it to be synced. So that's why I subscribe to it. As of now, it's for iOS users only. But that is where you can look into that. The page subscription, it does not back up everything. It only backs up and saves your pages. So in every device you use, you have to set up your folders. You have to add fonts. You have to organize things and set your preferences also. It only backs up your pages. So keep that in mind. And another question I got was about drop shadows. I don't know if there was an example I showed, or maybe when we were working through all of those pages at the end of part 4, this came up. I can't remember where it came up, but the app has what they call a drop shadow. And you see around this pocket how it's defined. You can see that tiny gray outline around each pocket, around this pocket. And I have this on a white background with some white cards to really, really show you that. And then here's an example of that same exact page with the drop shadow off. See how all of this, it blends in. There's no definition around this pocket or any of the pockets, but it's really noticeable on the ones with a white background. So see how this is completely seamless between this card, the background, and this card. And see how you can see it defined here? That is the no drop shadow option. And to do that, you have to set this in your preferences. So we'll come to question mark. We'll come to question mark, preferences, and it's right here. You can toggle that off, and I would suggest creating a page with the drop shadow off and putting that in a templates folder or a reference folder. So then you can duplicate that as needed. Or vice versa. If you like your pages all with the drop shadow off, create one with the drop shadow on and put that in your reference folder so you can duplicate it later, because you cannot toggle that on and off. Once a page is made, it's made that way. You can come back here and change your setting, but that page will be set that way. So I say that because I have turned my drop shadow off for one page, finished it, created other pages, and realized later, oh my gosh, I forgot to go back and turn the drop shadow back on. So let me show you what I mean by that. I have this folder here. It's stuff I use for the group, for crops, for just illustration purposes. So I have those templates in here, and I just duplicate one of those. And some of this is from here. This is what it would look like. You would toggle off the drop shadow, create a page like this, add a white card, put that in there, and then save it for later. Go back to your preferences and turn your drop shadow back on. And then when you want to create a no drop shadow page, you simply duplicate this page and work from there. I hope that helps. And while I'm in this folder, let me show you this right here as well. When you download a font, especially a free one, not all of the characters are included in that because it's a demo most likely, and they want you to pay for the full font. But if you download the demo, you can test it by putting all of this on a 4x6 or 6x8 solid card and type out all the letters, all the numbers, all the extra characters, quotes, apostrophes, at, $, all of that. And then you'll be able to go through your fonts and test them. You know, some of them may or may not have all of those things. Let me find one that doesn't and show you what it looks like. I'm tapping through all of my fonts at the bottom. Let's see. See, that one doesn't. Those letters are still there because those coordinating keys don't have a character for them. So keep that in mind when you're downloading fonts, that it's a demo and it's a freebie, and it may or may not have all of the characters. So I test that sometimes with that card. That again, that may be over organization. There is a line. There's a fine line between being organized and using everything that you have and over organization. So just be really mindful of that and not waste your time. Here is that double page spread. I keep this one page in my app, and it is in multiple folders because I'm never going to print this, so I don't need individual ones. I'll go ahead and add this to my 2026 folder. And now I'm set. And because I use that a lot when posting on social media. Let me go back actually to photo organization and say one thing I missed in that. So I'm going to come back to collections, and I want to show you back to my albums here. I have my pages in a separate folder than my pictures because when you're posting on Facebook, if you post photos or pages on Facebook, it does not recognize an iOS folder. So keep that in mind. That is why, because I post these online, I have a separate album for that. So keep that in mind. If you're organizing your photos and you're posting your photos on your personal page, keep in mind Facebook does not see an iOS folder unless something's changed in the last 3 days. Another common question was about pricing, and you are able to see the price of the kits or the layouts right in the app. I'll go to a kit I don't own and open that up, and it tells you the price right now. So this one's $1.99. I'm going to click maybe later. Let me find maybe a larger kit. This one's $3.99. There's the fine print on that. Price was in a different spot, so be sure to just check all of that. This one's $1.99. Let's see, this is a pretty big kit. It's $4.99. So be sure to look through all the fine print and find the prices there. Now, I can't show you how much let me go to it. Let me open up a page. A page is, a layout pack is, because I bought them all. So I want to say they're like $5.99. I don't know, maybe $6.99. Don't quote me on that because I cannot tell you because I buy them all every time. I get them all every time. I am a template hoarder, and then I have my favorites, of course, but I buy all of the templates, and no matter what, doesn't even matter, I'm going to do it. I just want more templates. They're fun to play around with, so be sure to check that out. And then don't forget about the editorials as well. Be sure to check all of those out while you're looking for things. And just again, I encourage you to open the app and just tap around. You can see the name of the designer. You can see the price. You can look through all of the kits and see what, let me just do that. What all is included in the, goodness, not my photos. What all is included in the kit. And it is sometimes hard to tell if that is a 4x6 or a 3x4. But so be sure when you're in the page, making your page, to change pockets and see, and then you can move cards around. You can see how tall and skinny this is versus this. So there are some clues in there, but it's really hard to tell. There's also on the Becky Higgins website a reference guide. It's not exactly updated, but be sure to check that out as well. And you can just Google Becky Higgins LLC card reference guide, and it may pop up. And here's that website I was mentioning. It's beckyhiggins.com/card-references, where you can tap on a kit before buying it and see all those designations. Once you buy the kit and you're using it, you can see those designations. But in the display, when you're trying to buy the kit, it doesn't designate, for some reason, it doesn't designate the different sizes and orientations. So that is where you can go to see it. Okay, so back to the no drop shadow topic. This is an old page I made, and I think this is using the Project 52 2016 collection. It's got a slightly light gray background. And so that's the key in working with these no drop shadow pages, is to make sure your background on the page and the background on the card are the exact same, so it looks seamless. So you may have some trial and error there if you're not using plain white background. But here's one, and this card I just filled in the Just Us and the June 2018 using the card. These are all cards from that and the drop shadows off. Here's another no drop shadow page where I just filled in this middle row and probably put a white card in here and added that journaling at the top. And then here is the design on the card as is. So it just looks like a little row of hearts across the top. Here's another one that Megan Johnson made. She's another admin with me in the Simply Project Life Facebook group, along with Ashley and Teresa. And so this card is added in this pot. This is a 4x6 card in both pockets at the top and both pockets at the bottom. And it looks like she rotated him on one end or the other. So that's super cute. That is how you can use the designs on cards to sort of blend into the background of your pages and have the no drop shadow page. I hope that helps with that. I'm going to share another one here Sean made. This is a no drop shadow page, but it's also including a technique like a photo strip kind of a thing and rotated with Pick Tap Go. Pam Dowell shared this with us years ago, and there's a lot of variations of it. So it can have drop shadow on or off on this original page, but if you want to use designs on the cards, again, this is that Project 52 2016 kit probably with that light gray background. I changed the background of the original page and the second page, you know, the page in a page technique. So we're going to walk through that. I know that sounded confusing. We're going to walk through it. To do that film strip technique, you're going to use the free 15 layout, and you're going to add 4 photos to these pockets right here and leave the rest empty. So we're going to export, and this is a drop shadow on. This doesn't matter right here. I'm going to say yes, incomplete. It's fine. Save the image. Let me close that out. And then I want to go to my no drop shadow template and duplicate this. All right, and then I'm going to open this up. So edit the page, and I'm going to delete that and change the template to what used to be called the Big Shots. Remember those? They're still in here. They just have a different name. You could use one like this, or if you want to use some designs on some of the cards, you could use this one and add cards in any of these pockets. I'm going to first show you that I'm going to add that incomplete page to this side right here. So there it is. It doesn't look tilted. It doesn't look, you know, anything special, but you're going to use, and if you're iOS, you can do this. If you're Android, I'm sorry, Pick Tap Go is no longer supported on Android phones. Okay, I needed to change the orientation of working in the Project Life app, because when you use Pick Tap Go, you can't really, it doesn't display right in landscape mode. So I am going to, because I've already downloaded the Pick Tap Go app and integrated it into the Project Life app, which is very easy to do. If you tap here, it'll prompt you. You can tilt the page using the crop button and one of these sliders. So I'm just going to do it slightly. That was at 7.5. I'm going to tap the check mark and tap done and allow the paste. So now it looks like that, and I can use my 2 fingers to enlarge it. And back to landscape mode. It's just easier for me. And then I want to add a card down here. Just something with a simple design at the bottom, maybe. Maybe something like that. And then just say, happy 30th to us. Whoops, to us. And I'm going to do a little editing. I'm going to justify that on the right. I'm also going to go back and lower that all the way down to meet the design of the card. And I really think if I do a little bit with the line spacing, I might be able to get even closer. Nope. Sometimes I try that if I want to get a little more adjustment to it. But that is the point of turning the drop shadow off on that second part. The photos, they have the drop shadow on. I like that. But then now I can use these pockets or the other pockets on the page to have the designs of the cards sort of blend in seamlessly with that. That's the point of the no drop shadow. There are more examples in the group if you want to join us there. And I hope that answers the film strip question. That's a really easy way to do it. And it's super fun. It's just kind of creative. You can also then, of course, add freeform text embellishments all over that, however you would like. Let's see. Let me go back to Pam's. So these are all freeform text characters from a fun font. I used, again, the design on the card. Where's the one from? There's the one Sean made, and it has the pockets filled, and he put it in this top pocket and rotated it. And it's super, super cute and fun. And this is very colorful. And so there are just, again, variations upon variations. When someone posts something in the group, it just takes on a new life. And we've been doing this for ages now in the group. So please join us there for more amazing pages. Okay, for the last FAQ I got over the last 4 videos, it was about editing your photos and in-app editing specifically, but we'll go over some other things. I added this photo to these 4 pockets, and this is the original picture as is. And I want to show you how to do some editing in the Project Life app here. So we'll go through a few things and we'll start here. Look at these 3 icons right here. This is the brightness, this is the contrast, and this is the saturation. So we're going to do what Sally Wilson does with a lot of her photos. She's known for her editing style and also for her typography. So she gave us some tips, and what she does, if you like her style, is she bumps up the brightness. So I'm just going to pick a number, and she bumps down the saturation. And, you know, there are other editing tools that scrappers might use, but here's how you can do it in the Project Life app. So I just wanted to call your attention to those tools down there and show you how Sally does some editing. And then this right here is the rotation tool. Let me remind you about that. That's not about editing, but it's a quick tip. If you add anything through the photo picker, or you add a filler card from an in-app collection, you're able to rotate it. So don't skip over that tool right there. Now, you can't rotate any of the in-app formatted journal or title cards, but you can rotate filler cards. So sometimes that gives you a different look to a card. So be sure to check that out. Okay, back to editing. Now we're going to go to an in-app integration of another app called PicTapGo. And if you're an iOS user, you have access to this. And if you don't have the PicTapGo app and are interested in adding it, you can tap there on that icon, and then it'll prompt you to buy the app. Let me switch the rotation. This is what it'll look like when you add your photo. So they have some in-app filters here, and there are some basics. I've bought a few packs, so you won't have all of these options. I've definitely bought a few things through the app. But I want to start here with this lights on filter. So you can use that filter. It's pretty strong, but that is what it looks like as is. So say allow. And then I want to come over here and show you what it looks like when you kind of bump down the filter. So we're going to come back to filters and come back to lights on. And then I want to bring your attention to this strength slider. I'm going to bump it down. It said about, I think I was going to put it like right around 60. We'll see what that looks like. Always do the check mark and always say done, say allow. Okay, so there's a little bit of a difference, right? It's not as strong as this one. So be sure to play with those filters and the strength slider and all the other editing tools. There is much, much more you can do with PicTap Go. Be sure to follow their pages and their socials for information on that. And then within the app, there are some tutorials. So don't forget about those. All right, now let's go to our Photos app and just do some photo editing in there for me. I am going to tap here on these sliders, this menu tab, and we're simply going to use the magic wand and see what it does. Did it make some changes? Little bit? Yeah. So I'm going to say check to that. And I am going to add this to my Project Life app. So let's add that there. I believe it is in this. Here. This. So here's the edited version. Okay, helped a little bit. This is the original pic. Here's the edited version. Okay, so now we're going to go back to that. And if you make an edit you don't like, you tap there and you say revert to original. So there it is, back to its original. And we're going to do some other editing. Instead of just using the magic wand and letting the app do what it does, you can add filters here. So you could scroll through those. And then, but I'll go back to adjust. And I want to bring your attention to some of these tools here. There's the exposure, the brilliance, the highlights. You know, you can scroll through all of those. And I'll just be honest with you. I am not a photo editor. I wouldn't even know where to start. So I'm just going to play around with some of this and we'll call it good. Now we're going to come back to the Project Life app and let's see. Let me get down to that. There we go. And then I'll just add that in there with our manual edits I just did. Now, did that do much difference? Not really. I'm not a photo editor, I'll be honest. I pretty much use one of the PicTap Go filters and leave it at that. So if you're good at that, share some tips with us about the photo editing within the Photos app in our group. And speaking of our group, this is the one I'm referring to. I've said it a few times in every video, but please join us there for great inspiration. It's the App Scrappers Simply Project Life Facebook group, where this is what the cover photo looks like. So when you navigate to the group, be sure to read this and click on See More. And this group is solely about making pages with the Project Life app. And then I'm going to go over some other things in just a few minutes, but I wanted to sort of show off some pages. So I thought I would share a few I've made. This is just a pocket page in the app with a little overlay on it. This is the other side of that page. Here's my February page. And then the other side of that February page. I tend to think in double page spreads, so that's why I'm showing you that. I made this earlier for a Disneyland trip. I showed you this earlier, and it's just dropping in your photos, dropping in some cards, adding a little bit of journaling, and moving on to the next page. It can be that easy. And here's the other side of that where I've added the little page in a page technique. We went over that in another video. This is from a New York trip where I just put a solid colored card in and did some journaling on that, along with these in-app cards and some overlays. Again, here, the other side of that page for my New York trip. This is a page by Ashley. She's an admin in that group with me, and it's dropping in photos, cards, some overlays, some journaling. Easy peasy, right? Here's another page from Ashley. Super cute. Here's a page from Lorna, and it's just her photos and some freeform text. You don't always need a card. Sometimes your photos just are beautiful, and you do not have to worry about anything else. So that's a great example of that. I wanted to show you that. Kayla made this page. This is another page from Kayla as well. This is also from Kayla. And another one from Kayla from her books. That's a super clever idea to add to your album each year, what books you're reading. And there's one from Kayla also. Here's another one from Kayla with the no drop shadow. I'm not going to go over every technique or everything you see on these pages. I kind of just want to show off a few. And then, of course, join us in the group. Corey made this, and it's a twist on the film strip idea where you create the page. She probably left these white ones empty and then added it back into the 12 by 12 and rotated it. I said I wasn't going to go over everything, but sometimes I can't help myself. There's just so much inspiration. Another page from Corey. How cute is that, right? This is from Annette. Oh, and look at the fun fonts. You know, we talked about some of those fun fonts in part 4, but that's adorable with the paw prints, right? Here's a page from Penny. Here's another one from Penny. Super cute. And this is from Megan. She's also an admin in the group. The Practical Scrapper. She creates card kits, so be sure to check out her stuff. I think I may have mentioned that. Another one from Megan. This is from Sean. He also creates some card kits. I mentioned his page earlier. This one, he added text from the book on his pages. And then this is one of his kits, so super cute, super fun for national parks. He's got a whole series and some Disneyland stuff too, I think. Or, well, all the parks too. Here's a page from Sally. Another one from Sally. She also creates her cards on Wilson Wilson. Sean's website is from the Duck Pond. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. And then this group takes those pocket pages we made in the Project Life app and then embellishes them a little bit. See how this is matted and there are some extra bits on there. So this is how you can embellish your pocket pages. Join that group if you want to learn how to do that. Here's an example. You can see some of the items on top of the page. That's mine. I made this one too. And this is the one on that example. It was matted with a page in the back, but here's the pocket page with a little bit of embellishing. This was from a Disney trip. This was really fun to do, to use the this was the Collect app, which isn't available anymore, but there's a overlay, thanks to Megan, in the app that you can put on your photos, and then you could embellish with another app. Again, that's something for that other group. This is from Megan, so is that. And then this group will show you how to make pages like this with apps, desktop or mobile. So be sure to check out that group. These are from Christy. She's the admin there. So be sure to check out those groups for pocket pages, embellishing pocket pages, and then doing stuff like this as well. And if you have made it this far, give yourself a pat on the back, reward yourself with some scrapping time. And I want to say a huge thank you for making it through all 5 parts with me. Here's my last plug for the Facebook group, App Scrappers Simply Project Life. Join me there where you can ask questions about anything you've seen as I've been walking through the Project Life app. You can get helpful information in the featured post section. There's a ton of information we've compiled there in our 8+ years. So I just want to mention that and be sure to check it out. I also want to mention that I nor the Facebook group are affiliated with Becky Higgins, LLC, the creator of the Project Life app. So be sure to check out their Instagram page where she and Carly are most active, Becky Higgins, LLC. And you can also check out my Instagram. I'm Jenna Scraps. As well as some of the designers mentioned in this video, I'll be sure to link up a few resources for you in the comments of the YouTube post. So check that out along with timestamps. All 5 parts have timestamps. So if you're looking for something specific, be sure to see that first pinned comment on YouTube. And thanks again. Thanks so much for watching. I really can't thank you enough for your support and your help in creating these videos. Thanks so much to everybody who contributed pages and join us in the group. Happy app scrapping, everybody.